Yo, and we are live. Yo, this is Set with Saying Comedian, man. I'm back with another one for y'all, man. Today, we're about to get into this whole Jordan Peterson fall off right with Candace Owens, man. Let's get right into it, because this is a doozy.
Everybody's mind this week. What exactly is going on with Dr. Jordan Peterson? It looks like he's lost a lot of his male audience, and we're going to take a look at how exactly that occurred. Also, we have
how you do
news that a doctor...
Because I ain't gonna lie, bro. It was like I say, bro was a superstar, low-key. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Inspired other doctors to get out there and try their hand at social media and all that good stuff. I know you're thinking like, God damn, now we got all these boring doctors out here. But no. Now we got all these doctors stepping up that's providing valuable information. I ain't gonna lie. It's a good thing.
Who specializes in Parkinson's disease has visited the White House 8 different times. 8 different times, my friends. No big deal. Everything is fine. It's totally fine. And Amber Rose is speaking at the RNC. What are your thoughts about that? Because I'm going to tell you.
Hey, did she just have a bust down MAGA ring? Like, I ain't gonna lie, that shit look kind of hard. Man, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, yeah, there's...
powerful niggardry at work here.
But hey, though, hey, whatever to get the word out.
Mine. All that coming up on Candace. Dr. Jordan Peterson. Okay, I just want to say at the top, I obviously have met and worked with him. He has always been extremely kind to me. So nothing that I'm going to say should be taken personally. I am just taking a look at something objectively that, of course, is fascinating, interesting to watch, because it's really difficult to capture into words the international level of celebrity that this Canadian professor of psychology reached on YouTube. A celebrity which began back in 2017 when he began dropping lectures that were aimed at men with lessons pertaining to how they could order their lives. We all remember this. He subsequently dropped a book in 2018 that was entitled 12 Rules for Life, An Antidote to Chaos. And
no, I have not read the book personally, but I have heard it was a good book, though. A lot of people have told me it's a pretty good book.
And just so we're clear, that book sold over 10 million copies worldwide. That is, nobody sells 10 million copies worldwide in any book. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's some record numbers.
Shortly thereafter, he embarked on an international world tour. I'm not kidding. He sold out stadiums across the world. And I remember watching this celebrity, just watching his star rise, and I was absolutely fascinated, as I'm sure a lot of women were, partially because there are very few people that achieve celebrity in their later years. Jordan Peterson is 62 years old. So we were watching a person become a 62-year-old rock star. That in and of itself is quite impressive. And people definitively do not achieve that level of celebrity by being a professor.
And I promise you, bro, turned into a rock star. I mean, you can literally go out, like, look on YouTube right now. You can find a heck of motivational speeches. A lot of them. All him just talking. I feel like my favorite motivational speech for Jordan Peterson would be how you have to be a dangerous man to be a kind man. That was my favorite one. Let me know what y'all favorite was one in the comments, because I know he dropped a lot, but that was my favorite one.
Like, so it was just be amazed. I was absolutely amazed. But there was also a piece of me, and again, I am sure that women can relate to this, that if I'm being honest, I just didn't really quite comprehend it. Again, it wasn't for me, it was for men, but I didn't find any of the things that he was sharing to be particularly earth-shattering in his 12 rules. And I was shocked by the male response to it. So I'm going to give you just a few examples of the rules that were in the book. One was set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. Okay. Another one was pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient. A third was tell the truth, or at least don't lie. Another was be precise in your speech. And the last one was pet a cat when you encounter one on the street.
I'm weak as hell, but I ain't gonna lie, this is a lot of those lessons coming right out of here. Right out of the Bible. And then a good amount of them also come out of the Quran as well. So he was preaching a lot of like a really good, religious scriptures that kind of, help you live a good life.
which that makes it sound silly, but essentially he was
Most
saying, like,
definitely
don't
help
miss
you
the
live a good
small
life if you follow the virtues, of course.
things in life. And I don't know if I wasn't so amazed by this, because a lot of these kind of are repackaged biblical proverbs, and you should read the Bible. And I'm sure that that obviously was a source for him. But I was really, I guess, taken aback by the male response to it in a way that was meaningful for me. I actually learned a lot because
Yeah, well, that and Greek philosophy, let's be real. A lot of people base their motivational talks off the Bible, Quran, and Greek Stoicism.
realized that a lot of men were
Marcus
feeling
Aurelius.
disordered. You know, I recognized that for men to have the response that they did, clearly something was missing in their lives. And I was glad that they had this male example to say, hey, listen, this is a little thing, but make your bed. Make your bed in the morning because it means something to make your bed. You know, stand up straight, kind of notoriously walk like a lobster, like have some self-confidence, have some
Yeah, low key, there is such thing as a position like chemistry. And what I mean by position in chemistry is like the way you sit up. So if you sit up in proper posture, it automatically boosts your confidence. If you slouch, it lowers your confidence. Honestly, even if like, and the thing is, it outward projects confidence. Well, not only do you feel inner confidence sitting in the correct posture, you also feel outer confidence. But people can see the confidence also. You also express it.
self-respect. And again, it made me reflect on just how far feminism had gotten, that we were making men feel so deflated that it took just one man, a professor, to stand up and say, hey, you don't have to feel that way. And your life should have purpose, and your life should have meaning, and you should do things that give your life purpose and give your life meaning. So I was like, kudos, love it. And as I said, I got to meet him multiple times. I've spoken at events with him, and I was very impressed with him. Then things started to shift. So let's recap what happened. In January of 2018, so this was really at the peak of his celebrity, he appeared on Sam Harris's podcast, which was entitled Waking Up with Sam Harris. And he seemed rather incoherent when he was being asked for a basic definition of truth. And people recognized this. Perhaps they didn't overthink it. But a couple of months later, in July of 2018, he sat down with Joe Rogan talking about that moment, talking about why he was incoherent. And here is what he said. He said that it was due to the fact that he had consumed some apple cider.
I'm sorry, but like, no way. What the fuck? So you just gonna sit here and lie to us like? Oh hell no, man. So you was out there incoherent, because I seen that interview and I turned it off immediately. I was like, bro, well, what am I watching? Like, this man do not sound the same, look the same, but they just letting him rock. All right then.
Take a listen.
But I didn't want to not do it because
apple cider. Like, what was it doing?
Sulfites in it.
What was it doing to you?
Oh, it produced an overwhelming sense of impending doom, and
Apple cider.
Stop the cap.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to call cap on that, Mr. Peterson.
it's seriously been overwhelming. Like, there's no way I could have lived like that if that would have lasted for. See, Michaela knew by that point that it would probably only last a month, and I was like,
A month.
yeah, a
from
month.
Cider.
Oh, I didn't sleep that month. I didn't sleep for 25 days.
Yo, 25 days. Damn, bro, you was on meth head time.
I didn't sleep
What?
at all. I didn't sleep at all for 25 days.
How is that possible? That
I'll tell you how it's possible. You lay in bed, frozen in something approximating terror for 8 hours, and then you get up.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, not
And
good.
this is
God damn, that sounds like an extended version of sleep paralysis. Like, Jesus.
from cider.
From apple cider?
I feel like Joe Rogan is all of us.
Oh, God, I'd never look at apple cider the same again.
I'm listening to that and it doesn't pass the sniff test. I'm just going, wait, what, apple cider? You didn't sleep for how long? What are you talking about? He brings up Michaela, by the way, that's his daughter. We're going to get into it.
way. I'm thinking
That
about it, too.
explanation does not make sense to me whatsoever. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not claiming to know how everybody's body reacts to apple cider, but I just don't think that you wouldn't sleep for that long because of it. Now, what followed
you'd hope.
thereafter was
You'd
that
hope
in
that wouldn't
February of
happen.
2020, so that's almost a year and a half later, news broke that Jordan Peterson was seeking emergency drug treatment in Russia. According to his family, and this was in a CBC News article from February of 2020, Jordan Peterson's family says he has sought emergency drug detox treatment in Russia after several failed attempts to overcome his dependence on a potent anti-anxiety medicine. They obviously spoke to his daughter, Michaela, as she speaks out.
And he took it out of Russia, so what? We wouldn't discover it in America? Wow, my man was... You took your chances in Russia instead of coming here to where they got the best doctors, or in your own place where you maybe go to a colleague or something. You wanted to hide it from the world, so what? You can sell your books? Like, wouldn't it have been a better spinoff if you'd have been like, look, I'm dealing with this stuff right now, but I'm about to show y'all men how to really conquer some mental stuff. I'm going through right now. Let me show y'all how to go through it. Like, it'd have been, bro, he could have made a better, like, story, just damn near giving us the view of him walking through the fire. Like, yeah, show us how you walking through the fire right now. Don't hide it. Don't hide it, and then we're actually finding out that, yo, you're not even built like that.
On behalf of her father a lot. She also has her own podcast and talks a lot about growing up with him and what she's learned. And this is a direct quote from her. He's had to spend 4 weeks in the ICU in terrible shape, but with the help of some extremely competent and courageous doctors, he survived. She goes on to say, the decision to bring him to Russia was made in extreme desperation when we couldn't find any better option. It goes on, the article.
Yeah, stop the cap.
Stop the cap.
You were trying to hide it.
Says that his family says he had been taking the drug for years to mitigate lingering anxiety following a severe autoimmune reaction to food. His dependence reportedly started last spring after doctors increased his dosage, to help him cope with stress as his wife, Tammy, battled kidney cancer. Okay, so immediately have some questions there. So we're saying that there was a food reaction, and then in response to the food reaction, they put you on anxiety medicine, and then the dosage was wrong, and he apparently had what appears to me to be a drug overdose. And Michaela ends the article basically telling them, like, you know, he'll speak out when he's ready. And that moment came in 2021. Jordan Peterson was ready to talk about it. This is a New York Post headline entitled, "He was suicidal and addicted to benzos." From that article, it reads that he was struggling with an addiction to benzos prescribed to him after a violent reaction to a strict meat and greens diet. Okay. And then in regards to his cider, the apple.
Hold on, that sounds like the diet that you'd be healthy off of. You should be good off that diet, but okay.
Cider overdose, or the apple cider
Especially
reaction, the New York Post writer put this, quote, Peterson has previously claimed that he didn't sleep for 25 days during this time, but the longest period of human sleep deprivation ever recorded is only 11 days, the paper notes. So what they're saying is...
Peterson,
Stop the cap.
you lied. You said 25 days. And sleep paralysis, basically. Like, what? We thought you was going through some real shit. And then you just lied to us. Yeah, he falling off, guys. He falling off.
He lied. He must have lied. I mean, that's unless, or he just broke this record from 11 days.
Well, that boy spent all that book money on benzos.
He not only doubled it, he added some. He just added 14 days to the longest record ever held of sleep deprivation. Or, as I said, Jordan Peterson was not being honest, which would mean that he violated one of his 12 rules. And to be clear, back when he was saying this about having not slept because of apple cider, the internet immediately knew that he was lying. Here are some of the tweets from people regarding his cider overdose. One person writes, he's describing benzo withdrawal to a T, an overwhelming sense of impending doom and horrific insomnia. Another user writes, exactly what I just said. Bro had the withdrawals in the worst kind of way. Been clean and sober for over 12 years now, but benzos are harder to stop than heroin.
Ooh. Man, so he was, all right, so he was out here being a little drug addict, preaching discipline, emotional stability, getting your life in order. Meanwhile, this man's a drug addict. Like, man.
Really, nigga?
Yeah.
And this last person writes, he didn't say,
man, he look, bro, he white, but.
Oh, yeah. That powerful niggardry at work here.
Apple cider vinegar, he said cider. My inference is that it was alcoholic cider, and his reaction sounds like benzo withdrawal. Probably was combining booze and benzos for a while. In any event, we aren't getting the full story. And lastly, this person
Damn
writes,
right
when
we
I was
not.
detoxing off of methadone, I didn't sleep for almost 3 months. It is possible you're in a twilight, half awake, barely asleep with no real rest. If you've never been through addiction and or detox from anything, then you have no idea what you're talking about. So yes, the internet, people that have lived through this understood that what he was actually going through, far from the story that he was painting, was withdrawal. Good old fashioned withdrawal, which a lot of drug users obviously know can lead to insomnia. Now, jumping back into the New York Post narrative, now again, Jordan is speaking out about having had this addiction. Jordan said he was prescribed a low dose of antidepressants to help him recover. I don't know if it's from the meat detox. I honestly can't follow. But the dosage was increased after Peterson sunk into depression following his wife Tammy's cancer diagnosis. So I'm going to be honest about when all this was coming out and it was all very confusing.
Okay. So your wife got cancer. Oof. He took it the wrong way. Man, like, see? That's what I'm saying. It'd been better if he'd have just, hey, let us know what was going on. He like, damn, so you tell me your wife got cancer. You over here going through it on the benzos, and you just letting us in, telling us, yeah, I'm about to be better. I'm about to overcome this as a man. I'm about to show y'all how you're supposed to get your life back right. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. That'd have been way colder than what he doing now, man. He had a chance to really show out.
And it wasn't quite clear. Is this a food allergy? Is this depression? Is this just somebody who's addicted to pills and doesn't want to quite tell the public? I was having private conversations with people and people that are in the conservative movement going, I don't see how he's going to recover from this moment, because it just seems to me that if your entire brand is built on telling people how to order their lives, and then what becomes apparent is that your life is in disarray, how do they trust you again? I think that's the big question. How do they trust you again? How do they rely on you? And I had to examine myself at that moment, because people were saying, oh no, it's all about the comeback. And I believe in comebacks, but I believe that comebacks can only happen when you are radically honest. And I don't think people sensed, as you can see by those comments, that he was being radically honest in what had occurred to him, and said,
if bro just kept it a buck, then yeah, it'd have been comeback season for him.
They felt that he was kind of
like
trying
liar,
to give a PR spin to what may have just been a good old fashioned drug addiction. But then I thought, maybe I have a chip on my shoulder, because listen, I didn't have a pretty childhood, and I've seen drug addiction, and I do have a very low tolerance for it. I'll be honest. Like when people are talking about their addiction struggles, and I'm thinking, man, I wish addiction wasn't an option for me. Like people that just turn to drugs as a solution for every problem, you know, it's hard for me to feel bad, because there are people that grow up in sets and circumstances that are so much worse, and they don't turn to drinking and they don't turn to drugs. So I checked myself and I said, you know, Candace, that is actually you just having a chip on your shoulder. And maybe it's true that it's amazing. And
now, I did make a point, like, it was a point, like, yeah, there's people who didn't do that. People who didn't turn to drugs, who just lived a clean life. And the thing is, we have to act like these people just don't exist. Like, oh, well, I feel you. I understand. No, G, no. There's no reason this lady should have turned down drugs, or this man should have turned to drugs. There's no reason he should have. We shouldn't be giving these people these passes to go be drug addicts and then want to walk it back. It's like, no. We need to shame you first.
And maybe Jordan Peterson, having a male audience that he has, will actually come out of this better and stronger, because he will share with the world how he was able to overcome this and reorder his life. Write another book, you know, how to reorder your life after a chaotic scene. But that wasn't the case. I think men...
Bro could have wrote that paper strung out, or my bad, not strung out, but going through it on the withdrawals. He could have typed a paper on withdrawals and told us, and he'd have been like, y'all was that cold with it. Cold sweats typing this paper so I can get y'all the motivation. He'd have been nice. He'd have been nice for that.
Felt like they couldn't trust him. They never felt that he was fully honest. And it felt like there was a lot of him and his daughter kind of trying to condition this in a different vein, whether it was talking about his wife's cancer diagnosis. And I hope that she's okay. I think that she is, which is amazing. I know that she's recently come to faith. There never seemed to be that big, radical, honest moment that came from him. Then we fast forward to October 7th, 2023, a day that will live in conservative media.
Well, I'm glad the wife's okay. That's always good. That's always good to hear that the wife's okay. Like, because Lord knows, man, if she'd have hit that, got taken away, boy, look what he did when she just got cancer. Bro went on a whole benzo, like binge. Imagine what would have happened if she'd have bit the dust, if it was her time. Imagine what that man would have done yet then.
infamy because it just was a moment where people behaved in ways that the public is never going to forget, in my view. And on that day, Jordan Peterson did not tweet like Jordan Peterson, which is to say he did not tweet in a calm, rational manner. Here is what he tweeted. He wrote, "Give 'em hell, Netanyahu, enough is enough."
Yeah, he shouldn't have did that. He should not have did that. Like, bro. He should have kept out of that war politics or just them type of politics in general.
And he began trending and he lost a huge following, partially because he was perhaps not aware, because I'm sure, listen, he's 62 years old, he probably is not aware of the demographics of his audience, but it turns out that Jordan Peterson had a huge following of Muslims behind him, and they felt that this response was not calm. It was not dictated by rationality or the logos, which Jordan Peterson loves to speak about. He speaks about how postmodernism wants you to abandon your logos. It wants you just to react emotionally without properly thinking. And it seemed that that's exactly what Jordan Peterson did on October 7th. He
didn't check them demographics. He like, before I say this reckless ass thing, hey, yo, how much people what's the demographic of people who follow me? And they'd have came back to him like, I ain't gonna lie to you, you got a good 40% Muslim and 7% Jewish and the other percent is the other races. He'd have probably looked back and been like, yeah, I probably shouldn't say what I'm about to say. I'm about to be messing up a lot of money. Or, he stands as a man of, integrity. So he might have just said it anyway. I'm gonna be real with you. Cause hey, if he's the type of man I think he is, or he has some characteristics of myself, yeah, I'd have said it anyway. I'd be like, well, regardless of the male viewership or the ratio of it, I'm gonna say it. This is how I feel, or this is what I think, and I'm gonna say it.
wasn't asking for people to be calm. He was participating in the madness of crowds that he often speaks about. And people did not like that. And you saw people in the Muslim community saying, we will never listen to another word that he ever says, because he has not used his platform to talk about some of the hell that Muslims have also been enduring. Time has obviously passed since then. We're almost at a full year, just shy of a full year of October 7th. And I don't think his audience has fully recovered. But I can tell you that what just took place online at the end of last week was very strange. I was watching this back and forth, and it was extremely strange. So I will set this up for you. Again, Michaela Peterson is his daughter, and she communicates a lot of what is happening with JP. So people see her as auxiliary to him. Now, to be fair, she is not Jordan Peterson. Of course, she is not Jordan Peterson, and we can't say that every word.
But she got a lot of clout off Jordan Peterson, which is her dad, so I guess it makes sense. It's okay.
That she says should somehow reflect on what her father's viewpoints are. But she did tweet this. She wrote, "Yes, I think the Nazis on X equating Jews with rats and using hashtags like filth should have more content moderation and censorship. No, I'm not retracting that statement." Okay, what? You're just straight up calling for censorship. I mean, saying using the hashtag filth, that is literally an English word. And you can say that word whenever you want. In fact, rather notoriously, I use the word filth to describe Rabbi Shmuley. And I use that word to describe Rabbi Shmuley because Rabbi Shmuley is filth. I meant what I said. This man harassed me for 2 years. I would be really, honestly, shocked and disgusted if somebody would dictate that I'm the one that deserves to be censored after this man harassed me for 2 years. And I never called for his censorship or his hag daughter's censorship. I just said, you're filth because you are filth. And that is my right to use that term. So for Michaela to make such a strong statement calling for censorship is not going to reflect well on her father, particularly because her father has said things like this in the past. Take a listen.
Freedom of speech is a cardinal value, not because it gives you the freedom to speak, exactly, but because without that freedom, we can't think, we can't improve our institutions.
I totally agree with what Jordan Peterson is saying there.
So he's saying that, and you're his daughter, so if anything, you'd feel like, let's be real, you feel like the lessons of your parents would be passed on to the kids before anybody, you feel me? So before your dad said that on, on that live or that show, I'm pretty sure he should have told that to you. So what are you doing going against it? Or are y'all just trying to, play for a certain group of people? Hey, it's okay, man. Hey, man. Hey, look, if you want to work with them boys, that's cool. That's cool. Just know what you're getting into and just, hey, man, he's the right color, so it might work out for him.
It is a cardinal value, and it is true that we have to be free to critique people and to critique our institutions. It's the only way that things get better. It's the only way that the truth can get out. As soon as you start censoring speech, the question is who's in control of dictating what should or should not be censored. We just went through COVID. I mean, the COVID SARS online saying, you can't say this, you can't say this. These were radical lefties, and it was a very bad thing. Jordan Peterson has also tweeted this in the past pertaining to freedom of speech. Free speech is not just another value. It's the foundation of Western civilization. Again, I agree with that.
And I love it.
So it's quite shocking that she would take this perspective. But again, she is not her father, that people should be censored for referring to people as rats or referring to them as filth. But what was more shocking was when Nick Fuentes, who is considered the leader of the Grape movement, wrote this in response to her. He wrote, "Your dad literally called me a rat last week.
I'm weak.
Thank you for exposing yourself and revealing who you really work for. Both of you freaks should be deported to Israel since you love it so much they can have you." And he attached a tweet from Jordan Peterson.
That boy Nick Fuentes, man. Well, no, I don't agree with everything Nick Fuentes says, especially when it comes to them boys, but he be snapping.
Where Jordan Peterson did, in fact, write this to Nick Fuentes. He wrote, "You, at Nick Fuentes, really are a psychopathic rat." So, yeah, now we're in a conflict here. She is calling for the censorship of her father, right? I mean, if you're saying the standard is just calling somebody a rat, and it is not just because
hasn't been passed down to the daughter, which means that you really ain't that much of a leader if your daughter doesn't embody the lessons that you preach yourself.
As it is a phrase that's being directed at Jews, but because calling people rats is wrong, then your father would have to be censored. And so Nick Fuentes raised this obvious conundrum to her. Here's what she wrote back. She wrote back, "Oh my God, were you called a rat? Did that hurt? I work for myself, you loser. And I know that Jews' success is due to their above."
Well, I wouldn't say you work for yourself. That's cap. Come on now. The only reason you're able to work for yourself is off the fame that your father provided you. So let's be real about that. It's crazy. Women will build off you, but when it's time to pull the credits, when she done reached the finish line or she reached the end of the movie and it's time to put on the rolling credits, I promise you, she gonna put the supporter role herself, director herself, producer herself, setting cast herself. It's like, dog, trust me, sometimes you don't get no credit out here, G. Especially when they finally get to the destination.
Above average IQ. But I'm sure blaming a nation of people for your failings is easier for you.
It'd be women, though. It'd be women sometimes, though.
What? So now she's like, yeah, you're a rat, or did that hurt your feelings? That just doesn't seem like a stable or a rational response to someone pointing out the fact that your father just said something that you're calling for censorship for. Or are you saying that it should only be censored if it is being directed at a person that is Jewish? She's not clear on that, but what is clear is that Jordan Peterson jumped into this and doubled down on calling somebody a rat. Here's what he wrote. He wrote, "I apologize for calling you a rat, Nick Fuentes.
Okay.
Rats are just animals. They happen to be an enemy of mankind. So they are like you in that regard. But they are merely acting on instinct, whereas you are motivated by a will for ignorance so deep that it's kind of a miracle, in combination with a profound malevolence. So I was unfair to the rats. Hence my apology. Take note, Michaela."
Funny.
He further added, "I don't regret the psychopath moniker, however. You and your followers, I know your type, buddy boy, but you don't know mine." Okay, so parking aside the fact that it's written in sonnet form, which is something that I don't quite understand why he's doing that, Jordan Peterson has built himself as somebody who is calm, who is rational, who relies.
I ain't gonna lie. Sound like bro challenged him to a fight. He like, boy, you don't know about me, man, but I know about your hoe ass. Like, come on, man. You ain't like that, Nick, man. Come meet me out here for real. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe that's how I interpreted it. I'm sorry. I just had to, like, hood translate that for y'all.
Eyes on logic, who is a person who believes in radical free speech. He's now coming to the aid of his daughter and essentially doubling down on calling, this is again a 62-year-old man, calling a 24-year-old a rat. And what is the reason, by the way? Because we should also say what is it that Nick Fuentes said that garnered that response from Jordan Peterson. And Nick Fuentes wrote one word on Twitter. He wrote Jews. Now, what was that in response?
God, man, Nick Fuentes, bro. Come on, bro. You just can't keep doing that. You can't keep talking about the Jays, man. Come on. Trying to run a YouTube channel here.
Response to, well, somebody asked the question. We know that Joe Biden is not in control of the White House, so who is in control of the White House? And Nick Fuentes wrote a one-word response, Jews. He's saying Jews are in control of the White House. And
God damn it, you're not wrong, but you can't be saying that type of shit, man. Come on, bro. Nah, but for real, though. I can't really say too much on the topic, not on this live. We'll have to go into a whole nother live where I can switch it over to Rumble and really go off on this whole, Jewish conspiracy. But just know that he's kind of right and wrong.
And that garnered a response from Jordan Peterson calling him a psychopathic rat. Now, we all know that Nick Fuentes has branded himself as somebody who expressly hates Zionism. He expressly hates Israel. And he is saying that Jews in the White House are now obviously in control because...
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. See, that's where he throws people off with the, I just hate Israel in general. I'm like, whoa, okay. You can't say that now. Like, you disagreeing with support of Israel, everybody can kind of get behind. But you saying that, oh, yeah, they're a Zionist state, we just need to cut them off, F them and all that. It's like, whoa, G, dial it back a little bit now.
Because Joe Biden is not. Now, to be fair, the Times of Israel had noted in the past, this is an actual article from them, all the Jews Biden has tapped for top roles in his new administration. This is from back in 2021 when Joe Biden first was inaugurated as president. And it goes on to say, Joe Biden filled the months before inauguration day, lining up a slate of cabinet secretaries, assistants, and advisors, many of them Jewish. It goes on to give us a rundown of all of the Jewish names, all of the Jews that they are saying are in his cabinet. You have Anthony Blinken, you have David Cohen, the CIA director, you have Merrick Garland, the attorney general.
Hold on, but the CIA, okay, yeah, I've been knew that first. I've been knew the CIA director was one of them boys. I've been knew that. But hey, it shows you how deep it goes, don't it?
You have Avril Haines, the director of national intelligence. You have Ronald Klain, the chief of staff.
So hold on, the CIA is one of them boys. And we work with Mossad pretty closely, and that's the state of them boys. The CIA of them boys. Yeah, a lot of things is adding up a little too well. Yeah. But let me know y'all thoughts in the comments.
So it seems a weird tweet for him to be so disturbed about. Now, again, it's likely because Nick Fuentes has a very long background of focusing his attention on Israel and Zionism, and that's what he is reacting to. Also because Nick Fuentes has called out Jordan Peterson explicitly for a very long time.
On life, when you call out Israel and then you really do your research, you hear about the Mossad, link to the CIA, then link to the... Yeah, let's not get into that right now, but don't worry. We'll soon.
As somebody who he believes has more of an allegiance to Israel than he does to Western civilization in general, essentially, that he would put Israel before he would put Canada and before he would put America. Now, I don't know if that's a fair critique of Jordan Peterson, but I do know that it is off-brand for him to respond by calling someone a psychopathic rat. I mean, calling somebody a name, calling somebody an animal when you are billing yourself, right, as the calm, rational psychologist, doctor who insists on logic and that the better ideas should win.
And God, and give, men good virtues, pretty much teach them what discipline and what delayed gratification can do for you. All that good stuff. And then, you out here acting emotional. Nick Fuentes got you in your feelings, bro. Bro, a 5'7" white boy got you in your feelings, bro. Like, come on now.
And is just going to be off-brand. But we should also be honest here that while people are pretending this is about Jordan Peterson versus the Grapers, or pretending that every person that we're seeing right now that is having a battle right now, it's due to the Grapers, that is not what we are watching, right? Like I said, this began long before it arrived between a beef between Michaela.
The Grapers is wild. Because that's what YouTube like language is when you want to explain somebody who forces themselves upon women. That's YouTube's version. That's how we clean it up. Like, we can't say the R word too many times. So that's what we use when we say grape or graper. So the fact that he's being called that is wild.
And Jordan Peterson and her father. It really began with people feeling like they don't trust the voices that are in the media. And Jordan Peterson is one of these voices. And that distrust in Jordan Peterson actually began when he wasn't radically honest about his addiction.
Facts.
And then it began further when they saw him basically not behaving in the way that he instructs others to behave. You know, there is a famed expression, those that can't do, teach. And people are wondering if Jordan Peterson is one of these individuals.
Ooh. Those who can't do teach. Ooh. God damn, that was a smooth one.
Cannot do. He does not live his life in
Why
order.
Y'all are teachers ain't doers. It's like I got a great example. So if you go to college and you take a business class, you'll be taught by a man who ain't never started a business, but who's teaching you about business. So yeah, those who can't do teach sometimes. Most
but
of the
he teaches
time,
order.
honestly.
Virtually everything that we've seen happen has seemed quite chaotic in his life. His correspondence with his daughter, watching this on Twitter, genuinely was just chaotic. I thought, this is chaos. What is this? Why do we have a psychologist and his daughter, and his daughter's calling for the speech censorship, and he's not agreeing with her necessarily, but he's doubling down on using the word rat, which she says needs to be censored. It felt like chaos. Didn't feel like 12 simple rules. And so that is why I believe that a lot of men have fallen out of love with Jordan Peterson, because they don't perceive him as somebody that is living his life honestly. I would, by the way, jump at the opportunity to have this discussion with Jordan Peterson. I have no bad feelings about it.
All right. Yeah. Honestly, I would like to see that conversation between her and Jordan Peterson as well, because I don't see him as a bad guy. Even from this story, even though he was capping, like, let's be real.
Stop the cap.
But if he just comes out, be honest, and be like, yeah, I was going through some stuff. My pride may have got the best of me. It's like, now at this point, you got to come with full authenticity at this point, you would hope. But you know how this fame gets to people, and their hubris and their pride gets in the way, and then it's all a wrap. They're just going to keep capping to you. You know, to save face and to save dollars, of course. And, you know, aligning with them boys kind of help a little bit. But once again, the internet's undefeated.
Gotcha, bitch.
And they always catch you up on your past mistakes. So watch yourself, especially when you start getting up there. Really, I need to tell that to myself. But anyway, this is Seth from S.E.T Comedian, man. Let me know what y'all think of the video in the comments. We appreciate the love here. Y'all have a good one. Peace.